In a week where I thought the Vancouver Canucks would go 0-4 and we would be looking at this team and being like, what the hell is wrong with it? The Vancouver Canucks were able to go above my expectations and at least get one win and won two very close games, along with one game that was not too close. How's it going, guys? Welcome back to This Week in CanucksLand. It is the first year anniversary for This Week in CanucksLand, as this is uploaded on the 2nd. Tomorrow would be a year since I uploaded the very first one. What a year it's been. Thank you guys so much. I'll talk about it a little bit more at the end, but let's hop right into the hockey because I know that's what you guys are here for. And we start off with a game against the Pittsburgh Penguins. As the Vancouver Canucks would enter this game after losing against the New Jersey Devils, they had picked up a win prior against the Washington Capitals. A little bit of a time where you just want to pick up one more loss, but at least make it close. And although it didn't look close about halfway through this game, the Vancouver Canucks were able to make it nice and close at the end, but the Penguins would start off the scoring as Tommy Novak would skate in. He would send it across to Evgeny Malkin, and he would put it in to make it 1-0. And then it would be the first game in BC for Ben Kindle, and his family showed out. I think he had like 180 family members in the building. Awesome to see the support for a young kid making his debut in Rogers Arena, and he showed out as he would pick up the next goal as Ryan Shea would find him in front as he would redirect it in, and they would have a 2-0 lead, and he would pick up another one as Justin Brazeau would get the puck. He would send it to Kindle. He would one-timer at home, and the Pittsburgh Penguins would have a 3-0 lead. Kindle would have an amazing night in his hometown, but the Vancouver Canucks, they would get two, starting with Jake DeBrusk getting one as Evander Kane would go for a wraparound. DeBrusk would get the first shot. He would go skate around the net, get the second run, the rebound, and he would put it in, and it would be 3-1. The Canucks, I just don't know what I did there. The Canucks would get one more as a Philip Hronek shot from the point would be tipped by Teddy Bluger and in, and we would lose 3-2 in a close fashion, which was nice. I wish that it was a little bit more like Penguins, Canucks, Penguins, Canucks, Penguins, and we lost that way instead of Penguins, Penguins, Canucks, Canucks. But making it close, keeping it close, tanking in the right way. Close, competitive hockey. It's exactly what I want. I think I preached about it in the last episode, so it's nice to see the Vancouver Canucks do that. Luckily, the next game is the last time we don't see him do that, whether lose or lose by close game. The Sharks would own us. We would move into a game against the San Jose Sharks. The Canucks would start off the scoring, though, as Elias Pettersson would send it over to Tom Wielander, and he would fire it in, and that's nice. There we go. That's a young kid goal. Exactly what we want. Another young kid on the ice for the San Jose Sharks who would start on great night for him would be Macklin Celebrini, as Sam Dickinson would let the puck go by him. Will Smith would pick it up, send it to Celebrini, and he would one-timer it in, and the Sharks would tie the game. And then Celebrini would steal the puck. He would skate into the zone, send it to Eklund to Gaudette, and Gaudette would put it in, and it would be 2-1 for the Sharks. And it would just keep rolling as Wenberg would get the puck down low. He would send it to Toffoli. Toffoli would put it in, and the Canucks would be down 3-1, just like that in the first period. There would be only one goal in the second period, and it would be Will Smith, as it would be Klingberg sending it down low to him, and he would make a really nice shot. He would beat, I think it was Tolopilo in net for this game. They replaced him. They replaced Lankinen with Tolopilo. Just what a shot that was by Will Smith. The Sharks would add one more yet again on the power play as John Klingberg would get the puck from Will Smith, and he would fire it in. A little bit of a switch there as it would be Klingberg to Smith, then Smith to Klingberg, both on the power play. And yeah, the Sharks would take a 5-1 lead just like that. And it wasn't looking good for the Canucks. They would get one more, though, as Elias Pettersson would send it to Philip Hronek, and he would fire it in, and it would be 5-2. But it wasn't a good game. Macklin Celebrini took over. We just pretty much lost it within like the middle of our two goals. The first was a collapse. We took Lankinen out. Tolopilo did a little bit better, but we still couldn't. Two power play goals. I mean, that Sharks power play, they're going to capitalize on a team like us, and they did. Luckily, we were able to get one more, but man, that game was just not great. Not a great game overall for your Vancouver Canucks. Luckily, they would move into a game against the Anaheim Ducks, continuing the California teams. LA didn't play, but this is the last bit of it, and we would actually do really good in this game. As although the first and second did not have scoring in it at all, it was just a very tense game. Once I left the house, it would be Drew O'Connor as Jake DeBrusk would get the puck, send it over to O'Connor, he would one-timer it in, and the Canucks would take a 1-0 lead, and they would hold it all the way till about 30 seconds to go, as Anaheim would try to center it. It would go off Hronek right onto the stick of Teddy Blueger, and he would send it all the way down the ice into the empty net, and the Vancouver Canucks would hold on and win 2-0. Nikita Tolopilo would get a shared shutout. Unfortunately, not an only shutout for Tolopilo, as he did get run into concussion spotting. He had to take the gear off, so he had to put it back on, so it took him a little bit. Lankinen got one save and played like 2 minutes, so it's a combined shutout. But in our hearts, we congratulate Tolopilo for getting a shutout. He played really good this week. I think this was his second, so he came in against the Sharks about halfway through, only let in 2. You got this game where he had pretty much a shutout minus 1 save, and he would go into the game against Toronto as the Vancouver Canucks would start out the scoring as Pierre-Olivier Joseph would hold the line. He would send it to Liam Ogren. He would find Lekkerimäki in the slot, and you cannot leave him with time and space like that, as he would fire it in for his first since getting called up. What a goal for Lekkerimäki. It was nice to see. Hopefully he can get rolling a little bit, maybe playing with a better center. Maybe. It would be nice if Rossi comes back to see maybe a Rossi, Ogren, Lekkerimäki line. That would be a very fun line to watch. The Leafs would answer, though. Actually, before we get to that, the Leafs wouldn't answer quite then. Pardon the interruption. The Vancouver Canucks would get one, as Filip Hronek would send one off the end boards. It would bounce out to Elias Pettersson, and he would put it in the net. But it would be reviewed for goaltender interference, and the referees would wave it off as Connor Garland was in the crease and interfered with Joseph Woll. 50-50. I do think that he did interfere with them. It was outside the crease. I felt like the Vancouver Canucks had a very similar call earlier in the year that went against us, but what is even goaltender interference? That's what the rule is. The Canucks would get... now it's the Leafs. Well, I'm all over the place. This called off goal has me rattled. As Nick Robertson would make a nice spin off, he would find Nicholas Waugh, and he would fire it in, and the Leafs would tie the game, but the Canucks, they would answer pretty quickly. As Evander Kane would skate into the zone, he would send it across to Tom Wielander, and he would fire it in. Another one. That's his second of the week for Tom Wielander. Lekkerimäki also picking up a goal. Some young kids getting goals. Exactly what you want to see when we're tanking like this, because, we would rather those guys get some nice goals, see a little bit of progress, some results from those players. So it's nice to see. The Leafs would answer, though, as off the face-off. It would be a bit of a battle. It would end up on the stick of Max Domi, and he would fire it past Tolopilo to tie it at 2-2, and it would go all the way to overtime, where after Austin Matthews was stopped on a penalty shot, it would go all the way to a shootout. Tolopilo holding on throughout that overtime frame was nice to see. The shootout would start off after a Canucks stop, The shootout would start off as after the Canucks were stopped, Nylander would skate in, and he would put it in on the back end. And then the Canucks would be stopped again as Elias Pettersson just wouldn't get his move off. And then Austin Matthews, with the game on the line, would put it in on the back end. And yeah, the Canucks would lose 3-2 in a shootout, which we got a point, but 3-2 in regulation, 3-2 in a shootout. Luckily, the Flames and the Jets won. The Blues did not. So you know what I mean? The more they win, the less we have to lose. So that's how I see it. The Vancouver Canucks would go 1-2-1 this week. I don't know why I just did 1-2-3. 1-2-1. So honestly, not too bad of a week. Would rather it be 1-3. Didn't really want that extra point against the Leafs, but honestly, if we could have switched it, lost against Anaheim and beat the Leafs, would have been a better week, because we always like beating the Toronto Maple Leafs. That was my thoughts on the week. So let's head into the news of the week, and there is quite a bit. So in terms of the news of the week, the big one is that Thatcher Demko is going to be shut down for the end of the year, and he's going to be getting hip surgery. Honestly, this is probably the best thing to do for Thatcher Demko. I think with the way the hip surgeries work, they tried rehabilitation. That didn't really work out, so now it's surgery. So hopefully this is the next step for him to get a little bit more healthy and, start playing a little bit more. I know a lot of people would say, pull Thatcher Demko back because he helps us win games, but you know what? We're actually losing games while Thatcher Demko's in net. If you look at it, he probably has the most wins in terms of the Canucks goaltenders, but also has still a bunch of losses. So, yeah, it sucks to see for Demko. It does help out the team a little bit because he just is that good. Hopefully he's able to come back healthy. They say the timeline, he should be back for the start of next season, so that is good. In other injury-related news, Brock Besser went down as Brian Rust did throw a bad hit at the end of the game. Brian Rust got 3-game suspension for it. Thank God, finally, we actually have a player getting punished for hitting a Vancouver Canuck. Boyum also, I think he took a puck to the face. He broke something. I think it was his orbital bone. Should probably search that, but he went out after the Penguins game as well. So Mancini and Leckermanky were called up, and yeah, that's like just a bunch of injury news. Really, there's not much in terms of trades. There's some stuff that's like Evander Kane, which teams are interested. That's about it. Olympics. The Olympics are coming up. We do have one more this week in CanucksLand coming up, but they did celebrate it. The Olympic players for your Vancouver Canucks are Teddy Bluger, David Kampf, Philip Hronik, Elias Pettersson, Kevin Lankinen, and then there are two for your Abbey Canucks as Arnri Ravinskis is going to go play for Team Latvia, and Lucas Reichel will go play for Team Germany. That's really it for the news. Let's hop into the 3 stars of the week. All right, now indoor 3 stars of the week. Our third star is Elias Pettersson, who had 0 goals, 4 assists for 4 points. Our third star has 4 points. That's really nice to see. All of our stars last week had 3. We're up to 4. We're getting more points as we go. He was a 0 in terms of, so he was up there at least for 4 positive goals. He was on the ice for 4 goals against. I think a lot of that was probably the Sharks game. But Elias Pettersson had a good week. He set up a lot of primary assists, getting points, exactly what we wanted to see. I wanted to see his assist numbers get up, so him having a 4 assist week in 4 games is really nice to see. He had a goal as well. He could have been a 5-point week, but it ended up just being 4. Yeah, good week for Elias Pettersson. Keep it up. Your second start of the week with 1 goal, 3 assists for 4 points is Jake DeBrusk, as he's also a +1. He got that goal against, how am I forgetting, the goal against the Penguins, and he also got a couple assists, mainly the big one to Drew O'Connor, which ended up being the game winner against the Ducks. Good week for Jake DeBrusk. Nice to see him getting points again, because there's been times where him, Kane, and Besser are struggling, and they've consistently, like, one by one, have had good weeks where they're up there and deserving of 3 stars of the week. Your first star of the week, though, is a goaltender. For the first time in a while, it is Nikita Tolopilo, who stopped 96 saves on 100 shot attempts, giving him a save percentage of .960 and a 1.36 goals against average. What a week for Nikita Tolopilo. Never thought he would be up here. Almost got the shutout himself, but it was a combined shutout, sadly. But honestly, still a lot of... Everyone's going to look at that game and be like, Tolopilo won that game for us. Lankinen came in just for 2 minutes because he had to. It's nice to see Tolopilo on this list, especially a younger guy like that. Gives him a little bit more confidence. Although, yes, I don't think he's going to be playing up to the level of Thatcher Demko and playing really, really good consistently. Having games like this helps a young player. He's 25. It's nice to see. I hope he makes the list yet again, but with how the team's playing, it does tank the goalie stats a little bit. But that is it for your 3 stars of the week. Let's hop into the games next week. There's just 2 of them. As the first one, I have to get the days, I apologize, is against the Utah Mammoth, and that is at the time of upload today. We're at 6:30 in Utah, and then the next game is Wednesday, February 4th, against the Vegas Golden Knights, and that is at 7 p.m., and then the Canucks are on the Olympic break. That is it all the way till the end of February 25th, against the Winnipeg Jets would be the next game. I will be covering the Olympics. I will be covering Team Canada. We'll get into it a little bit more next week, but that is your schedule for it. And now let's hop into the outro. I have a big thank you, guys, to go into. All right, to get into this thank you, just to start it off, thank you, everyone. All 358 of you on YouTube, all 124 of you on TikTok, all 57 of you on Instagram, all 30 of you on Facebook. Thank you so much. when I started this, I didn't know where it was gonna go. I thought I was just gonna do it for. I thought I was just gonna do it for like a month, 2 weeks, and then just stop doing it. Like a lot of things that I do, I always either forget or I just stop doing it because I don't want to push through. And every single one of you guys made it worth it to push through and to keep doing this. Like I just come into the comments and seeing all the people, whether you disagree, whether you agree, starting a conversation. Everyone who supports, all the great comments that I get saying thank you or just saying how good the video was. Um, it's just, yeah, I didn't think I would get this far into this, and I'm happy that I have. And I have each and every one of you guys to thank for everything. Thank you. I don't know where we're gonna go. Obviously, there's many years. I'm gonna continue. CanucksLand will continue. But I mean, like, look at the first thumbnail I did. Like, this bare bones. For a JT Miller trade, I think you want a little bit of better thumbnail than you have here, right? And look how it's evolved. I mean, this is like going through here. I'm gonna put a couple up. These are the thumbnails that we went through. Like, I mean, just the quality has definitely gotten better, I feel, and I hope you guys enjoy all the videos I put out. Whether you came in and you watched one video, whether you watched the Don't Give Up on videos or the Rick Tocchet Adam Foote comparison video, or I forget which ones have like the most views, right? Or you stuck around, you watched almost every video, or you've watched every video. You're an early subscriber, whether you've just subscribed, whether you're a future subscriber. Thank you. I mean, I'm so grateful. I can't wait for the next few years to come. I get excited because although I don't have anything planned at the moment, I'll sure plan it because I do. Well, during the summers, I'm better at planning than I am during the season because it's a little more tougher to plan during the season. But yeah, I'm gonna hop into the intro now. I set a goal to try to hit 500 subscribers, so if you're a Canucks fan and you enjoy this kind of content, make sure to hit that subscribe button, leave a like, and comment down below. What are your thoughts on this week? What are your thoughts on the Demko shutting down? Thoughts on the play of the week? But yeah, without further ado, the video on your right is the video from Friday. The video on your left is the video from Wednesday. Subscribe right down under there, and I'll see you guys in the next one.